Hello everyone. So I don't have to state the obvious. We all know the media, particularly in Ireland, wherever but any other country, love the politicians. And what I mean by love, let's put it this way: they're not going to get very hard questions. Sometimes they might get a hard question, but they might rehearse it beforehand and make it out to be a hard question. But in reality, they don't, because we all know Dennis O'Brien owns majority of the media industries in this state. And Dennis O'Brien is obviously a good Fine Gael man. And obviously Simon Coveney's in brothers in RTE. So, not biased at all, lads. And, we have to, and the government give RTE money and the media's money, not such thing as free media, state controlled media, as you may know. But yeah, this is the thing, and I think we should all agree on this point, that no politician should just waltz into a radio station or a television station. They should be literally sweating balls, and forgive me for the word, but they literally should be sweat on the floor of the radio station or TV station when they're there, because they're there to be held to account. That's the job of the media, to hold them to account, to whatever, because again, they're in all for power, and the people pay them to be in power. And the media, basically, the voice of the people should be the voice, but again, the opposite of the voice, the enemy of the people, to be totally honest, half the media in this state. The enemy of the people. Everything that's supposed to be talked about, they don't talk about it. They look away from things that should be talked about. They wish-wash over different things, and they should be holding to. Like, take for example, Fianna Gael and Fianna Fáil should be gone out the door by now. They shouldn't be there. If there was a good media in this country, Fianna Fáil, Fianna Gael wouldn't last 10 seconds. Particularly, again, as I say, Stephen Donnelly, Norma Foley. You can ask yourself how, like, the media, like, many times they made appalling things, and they did appalling things that should never be tolerated in a free democracy. Well, again, if this is a democracy, it wouldn't have to see with no quavers. But yeah, because it's far from it. It's more or less a banana. It's banana republics like the South Americans. During the 1950s, the banana companies. That's all this country is now. We're all just bananas in a box of bananas for the big corporations. That made no sense, but anyway. But yeah, that's the thing, and we have to stop. Politicians have to stop watching into radio stations and TV stations every day of the week, and the media has to stop, basically being cushy with politicians. It's better now, and I would say this to people, it's better now for members of the public to go to the politicians and ask them themselves the questions that they want to know, because obviously the media won't ask the questions that people want to know. Like, I voted you in to sort something out about these gas prices and things like inflation. Questions like this, and you never hear them on the news talking about it. Or you should be literally grilling the Minister for Finance on the telly about it, about what's happening here. You should be grilling them, and about why Ireland doesn't have big corporation tax, and obviously the big industries don't pay anything in this country nearly at all in tax. And how does Paddy and Martin and Paddy and Jim down the road, who runs a small shop, have to pay an arm and a leg to keep it open, and then the big corporations in Dublin get off scot free and get billions and billions and billions of dollars a year. And then it goes off somewhere else, let's put it that way. But yeah, we have to get rid of this notion of the media asking questions of politicians. We have to go ourselves. If I have a question, I should go straight away to that politician and ask him and video him myself and have that interview, because that's an interview. An ordinary citizen taking upon himself to go and ask a question. I obviously don't shout down at the politician. They're entitled to at least have a chance to speak without you shouting abuse at them or anything like that. Obviously, give them a chance to speak. Don't be just literally shouting at them and demanding answers every 10 seconds. But obviously, you should be demanding answers, but give them a chance to speak. Don't war with them for about 10 hours and don't give them a chance. But yeah, this is what we have to get out of this notion. And again, politicians appearing on TVs and all that, they should really not be there unless they're going to get a good grilling about different things. Because again, the majority of politicians I see come on on all the shows, they don't get grilled. They don't get grilled. I never seen them sweat anything. I never seen them sweat. But the only times I've ever seen politicians sweat was when Fitz and Brown was on TV3. Nobody used to. Well, no politician wanted any to go on that show because they were literally ate out of it. Stephen Donnelly. I still never forget the day. I was even watching it when I was younger. I still remember the day Stephen Donnelly left Social Democrats to join Fianna Fáil. I mean, obviously, Fitz and Brown literally ate him out of it. Like, if we had him at the moment eating Stephen Donnelly out of it, the country would be very different. He called it careerist, which was utterly correct. Because it was careerist, leaving the party that you co-founded and then jumping boat into Fianna Fáil because you knew you were going to get a better position and things like that. And obviously, he's Minister for Health at the moment, Stephen Donnelly, so obviously it was a good idea, obviously, because he's getting more money. But yeah, Stephen Donnelly basically said it straight. Basically said, and I never seen a man So, like, Stephen Donnelly, I don't think he knew where he was coming or going, because he didn't know, he couldn't say really much, let's put it that way. All the points were waste. He couldn't really defend himself, and that's what we need. We need to grill our politicians. They're not there for an easy time. They're there to be grilled and to be asked hard questions. Like, again, take for example Helen McAtee at the moment getting extra money for this person in Taylor Park. She should be on the local radio station. There should be people calling and asking, demanding, why did I vote for you in the election if you're taking money on the side? And why is that money not go to the benefit of the community? Instead of to your back pocket. This should be the questions that should be asked. And particularly the local radio station should be calling them up and saying, there's homeless people in our community. There's people who don't have social housing at the moment. That €4,000, you could have maybe give it to a charity to help homeless people. But no, it went into her back pocket. Even though she's on a 200,000 a year, plus the expenses as probably as a minister, and obviously state care and all the benefits that come with that. It's a great country. But yeah, we need to get rid of this notion of politicians being cozy. Like, even I see it on Twitter, for politicians following media personalities and things like that and being all cushy with them. They should be afraid to follow them, to be totally honest with you, of them literally shouting them down and saying, what was this in the door? You mentioned this, you never said about it in your life. Why are you coming out now? Is it because there's an election? You never hear this. Like, literally the media should be a lot more tougher on politicians. But yeah, that's the Irish media for you. They won't ask any hard questions. But if it was you and I were on this station and we said something that they didn't agree with, take for example, you wouldn't vote Fianna Fáil Fine Gael. They literally will go eat us out of it. They will eat us out of it. They call it everything under the sun. They call us, I don't know what they would call us, to be totally honest. They call us something terrible. Because that's all they can do. They can call us something terrible, and that's all they can really do. Because at the end of the day, whatever the only citizen says, it's more right than what the politicians and the media say. Let's be fair. Because the media seems to be the enemy of the people at the moment. But anyway, take care, everybody.